Okay, before we start today's lesson, can I just ask for a tiny, tiny favor? I'm trying to grow this channel and teach English to as many people as possible, and I can't do it without you. If you just take 1 second to hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, but it means the entire world to me. Did you do it? Thank you. Okay, let's get into today's topic. The art of inner stillness. In the relentless churn of the 21st century, our minds have become the busiest places on Earth. They are crowded intersections of to-do lists, anxieties about the future, regrets about the past, and a ceaseless fire hose of digital information. The search for a moment of quiet, for a slice of inner peace, has become one of the most essential and yet elusive quests of modern life. We lie awake at 3 a.m., our thoughts racing like a runaway train. We sit at our desks, unable to focus on a single task as a dozen others clamor for our attention. This internal cacophony is not just distracting, it's exhausting. It robs us of our presence, joy, and ultimately, our well-being. But what if a calm mind isn't a mythical destination you might one day reach, but a state you can cultivate, a skill you can learn, and a place you can return to again and again? This guide is a deep dive into the art and science of calming the mind. It is not a list of quick fixes, but a holistic framework for understanding your own mental landscape and building a robust toolkit of practices that can serve you for a lifetime. We will journey from the immediate physiological levers you can pull in a moment of panic, to the long-term cognitive and lifestyle shifts that can fundamentally change your relationship with your thoughts. Calming your mind is not about emptying it or stopping your thoughts, an impossible task, but about learning to lower the volume, to observe the mental weather without getting swept away by the storm. It's about transforming the mind from a chaotic master into a trusted and tranquil servant. Part 1. Understanding the restless mind. Why are we so anxious? Before we can effectively calm the mind, we must first understand why it is so prone to restlessness. This isn't a personal failing. It's a feature of our biology, supercharged by the environment we've created. The evolutionary hangover, the monkey mind. Our brains evolved over millennia in an environment fraught with physical dangers. The part of our brain responsible for this constant vigilance is often called the monkey mind, in Eastern traditions, or what neuroscientists refer to as the default mode network, DMN. This network is most active when we are not focused on a specific task. It's the brain's idle state, where it wanders, worries, and plans. Our ancestors needed this feature. The hominid who sat daydreaming about the delicious berries, but also had a background process running watch out for saber-toothed tigers, was the one who survived to pass on their genes. This threat detection system, primarily governed by a small, almond-shaped part of the brain called the amygdala, is designed to be hypersensitive. It's better to have 100 false alarms, thinking a stick is a snake, than to miss one real threat. In the modern world, the saber-toothed tigers are gone, but our amygdalas haven't received the memo.
They now react with the same intensity to a stressful email from a boss, a looming deadline, a critical comment on social media, or an uncertain financial future. Our brain interprets these psychological threats as survival threats. The physiology of stress, sympathetic versus parasympathetic. This threat response triggers the sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight mechanism. The hormone cortisol and the neurotransmitter adrenaline flood our system. Our heart rate increases, our breathing becomes shallow and rapid, blood is diverted to our muscles, and our mind goes into high alert, scanning for danger. This state is incredibly useful for escaping a predator, but it is deeply damaging when it becomes our chronic, day-to-day reality. The antidote to this is the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest mechanism. When activated, it slows the heart rate, deepens the breath, stimulates digestion, and signals to the body and mind that it is safe to relax and repair. The core secret to calming your mind in any given moment is learning how to manually switch from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. Many of the techniques that follow are, at their physiological root, methods for activating this system. The modern onslaught. Our evolutionary wiring is now constantly being triggered by our modern environment. Information overload. The internet, 24-hour news cycles, and social media feeds provide an infinite stream of information, much of it negative or anxiety-inducing. Constant connectivity. Smartphones have erased the boundaries between work and rest, public and private. We are always on, and our brains rarely get a chance to enter a truly restful state. The cult of productivity. We live in a culture that glorifies hustle and equates busyness with worth. Taking time to be still is often seen as lazy or unproductive, leading to guilt when we try to rest. Understanding this context is the first step towards self-compassion. Your restless mind is not broken. It's a finely tuned survival machine operating in a world it wasn't designed for. Your task is not to defeat it, but to gently and skillfully guide it towards a state of greater balance. Part 2. The anchor of the present, mastering your breath. If you only take one thing away from this guide, let it be this. Your breath is the most powerful, portable, and immediate tool you have for calming your mind. The link between breath and mind is not mystical. It is a direct biological and neurological connection. Slow, controlled breathing is the master key to activating the parasympathetic nervous system. It directly stimulates the vagus nerve, a major nerve that runs from the brainstem to the abdomen, acting as the primary communicator for the rest and digest system. Here are several foundational breathing techniques. Practice them when you are calm so they become second nature when you are stressed. Technique 1. Diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing. This is the bedrock of all calming breathwork. Most of us, especially when stressed, are chest breathers, taking shallow,
rapid breaths that only reinforce the fight or flight response. Diaphragmatic breathing is the natural way infants breathe, engaging the full capacity of the lungs. Find a comfortable position. Lie on your back or sit upright in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Hand placement. Place one hand on your upper chest and the other on your belly, just below your rib cage. Inhale. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. As you inhale, focus on allowing your belly to expand and push your hand up. The hand on your chest should remain relatively still. This ensures you are using your diaphragm. Exhale. Exhale slowly through your mouth or nose for a count of 6. Feel your belly fall as you gently squeeze your abdominal muscles to push all the air out. Repeat. Continue this for 5–10 minutes. The longer exhale is key as it is particularly effective at engaging the vagus nerve. Technique 2. Box breathing, the 4-4-4-4 breath. Used by Navy SEALs, police officers, and athletes to maintain calm and focus under extreme pressure, this technique is excellent for resetting your rhythm and steadying a racing mind. Exhale. Gently exhale all the air from your lungs. Inhale. Inhale slowly through your nose to a count of 4. Hold. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Be gentle, don't clamp down. Exhale. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. Hold. Hold your breath at the end of the exhale for a count of 4. Repeat. That completes one box. Continue for at least 5–10 cycles. The structure and rhythm are incredibly grounding. Technique 3. The physiological sigh. Popularized by Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, this is the fastest known way to quell anxiety in real time. Our bodies naturally do this when we are sleeping to offload excess carbon dioxide, CO2, or when we are on the verge of crying. You can do it consciously. Double inhale. Take a deep inhale through your nose, and then, right at the top of that inhale, sneak in another, shorter inhale to fully inflate your lungs. Long exhale. Exhale everything slowly and completely through your mouth. Make the exhale significantly longer than the double inhale. Repeat. Just 1 to 3 cycles are often enough to produce a noticeable sense of calm. The technique works by reinflating the tiny air sacs, alveoli, in your lungs, allowing for a more efficient offloading of CO2, which in turn signals to your brain to slow the heart rate. Part 3. The practice of presence, mindfulness and meditation. While breath work is a powerful in-the-moment tool, mindfulness and meditation are the long-term training for a calmer mind. They are the mental equivalent of going to the gym. Mindfulness is the quality of paying attention to the present moment, on purpose and without judgment. Meditation is the formal practice you do to cultivate that quality. Over time, meditation physically changes the brain, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. It can shrink the amygdala, reducing reactivity, and thicken the prefrontal cortex, improving focus, emotional regulation, and decision-making. Getting started. A simple mindfulness of breath meditation. Find your seat. Sit in a chair with your feet on the floor or on a cushion on the ground. The key is an upright but not rigid posture. Let your hands rest in your lap. Set an intention and a timer. Decide to practice for just 5 minutes to start. Using a timer removes the anxiety of wondering how long it has been. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Gently close your eyes or look downwards at a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you. Bring attention to your breath. Begin by noticing the physical sensation of your breath. Feel the air at the tip of your nose, the rise and fall of your chest, or the expansion of your belly. Choose one spot and rest your attention there. The wandering mind. Inevitably, your mind will wander. It will drift to a memory, a worry, a plan. This is not a failure. This is what minds do. The moment you notice your mind has wandered is a moment of success, a moment of mindfulness. Gently return. Without judgment or frustration, gently guide your attention back to the sensation of your breath. You are not fighting your thoughts. You are simply choosing not to engage with them. Repeat, repeat, repeat. This cycle of focusing on the breath, noticing the mind has wandered and gently returning is the entire practice. You will do this dozens of times in a 5-minute session. Each return is like a bicep curl for your attention muscle. End with kindness. When the timer goes off, take a moment to notice how you feel. Acknowledge the effort you made to simply be with yourself. Lie down and sequentially bring your attention to different parts of your body, toes, feet, ankles, etc., noticing any sensations, warmth, tingling, pressure, numbness, without judgment. This is excellent for reconnecting a scattered mind with the physical body. Mindful walking. Instead of walking on autopilot, pay attention to the sensation of your feet making contact with the ground. Feel the heel strike, the rolling of the foot, the pushing off of the toes. This turns a mundane activity into a grounding practice. Mindful sensing. Pause for 1 minute and notice. 5 things you can see. 4 things you can feel. The chair beneath you, the fabric of your clothes. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. This is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, and it's brilliant for pulling you out of an anxiety spiral and back into the present moment. Part 4. Engaging the body to soothe the mind. The mind-body connection is not a one-way street. Just as a stressed mind creates a tense body,
A relaxed body can create a calm mind. Using your physical self is a powerful and often overlooked pathway to inner peace. Gentle, rhythmic exercise. Activities like walking, swimming, cycling, or jogging are profoundly calming. The rhythmic, repetitive motion has a meditative quality. Furthermore, aerobic exercise burns off excess cortisol and adrenaline and releases endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators. Yoga and Tai Chi. These ancient practices are essentially moving meditations. They combine physical postures, breathing techniques, and focused attention to create a harmonious union of mind and body. They are specifically designed to cultivate a state of calm alertness and release physical tension where we unconsciously store stress, like the hips, shoulders, and jaw. Stretching. When you feel your mind tightening, your body is likely tightening as well. Take 5 minutes to do some simple stretches. Reach your arms overhead, do some gentle neck rolls, touch your toes. This releases physical tension and sends a signal of safety to your nervous system. The restorative power of nature, biophilia. Humans have an innate biological connection to nature, a concept known as biophilia. Spending time in natural environments has been scientifically shown to reduce cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, and decrease rumination, the tendency to get stuck in negative thought loops. Go for a walk in a park or forest. Pay attention to the sights, sounds, and smells. Notice the fractal patterns in leaves and ferns, which our brains find inherently calming. Listen to sounds of nature, like birdsong, flowing water, or rain. Bring nature indoors. Buy a houseplant. Look out a window at the sky. Even images of nature can have a mild calming effect. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR. This is a deep relaxation technique developed in the 1920s that involves systematically tensing and then relaxing different muscle groups. It makes you acutely aware of the difference between tension and relaxation, helping you learn to release tightness you weren't even aware you were holding. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Lie down comfortably. Take a few deep diaphragmatic breaths to begin. Feet and toes. Tense the muscles in your feet and toes by curling them tightly. Hold for 5 seconds, noticing the feeling of tension. Release. Release the tension completely. Notice the feeling of limpness and relaxation for 10–15 seconds. Contrast this feeling with the tension. Continue up the body. Systematically repeat this tense and release process for your lower legs, upper legs, buttocks, abdomen, chest, back, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and face. Clench your jaw, squint your eyes. By the end of the practice, your entire body will feel deeply relaxed, and your mind will likely have followed suit. While the previous techniques are excellent for managing acute stress and training your mind, building a truly calm inner world requires examining and adjusting our thoughts and daily habits. The practice of identifying and challenging unhelpful thought patterns. Name it to tame it. When you feel a wave of anxiety, simply acknowledge it internally. Ah, this is anxiety. I am feeling anxious. This simple act of labeling creates a small space between you, the observer, and the emotion, reducing its power. The thought record, keep a journal. When you feel a strong negative emotion, write down. Situation. What happened? E.g., my boss sent a one-word email. Urgent. Emotion. How did I feel? E.g., anxious, scared, panicky. Automatic thought. What was the first thing that went through my mind? E.g., I'm going to be fired. I messed something up. Evidence. 4. What evidence supports this thought? E.g., the email was blunt. Evidence against. What evidence contradicts this thought? E.g., my last performance review was excellent. Urgent could just mean he needs information quickly. He's often very brief in his emails. Balance. Thought. What is a more realistic, balanced way to see this? E.g., my boss needs something urgently. I don't have enough information to assume the worst. I will respond calmly and ask for clarification. Schedule. Worry time. Instead of letting worries pop up all day, schedule a specific 15-minute period each day, not too close to bedtime, to actively worry. If a worry arises outside this time, jot it down and tell yourself, I'll deal with this at 5:30 p.m. Often, by the time your appointment arrives, the worry has shrunk or seems less important. This contains the anxiety rather than letting it run your day. Conclusion. The journey to inner stillness, calming your mind, is not a one-time fix but a lifelong practice. It is a journey of self-discovery, compassion, and skill building. There will be days when your mind feels like a serene lake at dawn, and days when it feels like a stormy sea. The goal is not to eliminate the storms but to become a better sailor, to build a vessel strong enough to navigate any weather, equipped with the anchors of breath, presence, and self-compassion. Start small. Choose one breathing technique. Try a 5-minute meditation. Go for a walk without your phone. Notice how these small acts begin to accumulate, creating more space and quiet in your inner world. Be patient and kind with yourself. You are unlearning decades of conditioning and rewiring your own brain. A calm mind is your birthright. It is the space from which clarity,
creativity and joy arise. It is not an empty mind, but a mind that is present, spacious, and free. By embarking on this journey, you are giving yourself the most precious gift of all, the peace that comes from returning home to yourself.